Hello everybody, Stephanie here from Stephanie Broussard Rolf Structural Integration, and today I wanted to do with you a somatic experiencing, so you can see how just changing your perception and using your senses can really impact how you feel in your body and even how you move. So we're going to start with one just for sort of feet and lower legs first. Start with a small scale and then we'll bring it up to the full body. Some of you will have experienced this in our sessions together. I do this sometimes at the end. So what I'd like you to do is to take a seat. Let yourself be comfortable in that seated position. So ideally knees a little below your hips, back supported. Or able to sit up nice and tall. And then just bring your awareness to your feet. Feel all 10 toes and your heels, and if you want, you can sort of give your feet just a little love before we get to work. Just help bring those senses down there. So if you've done that, then bring your feet flat. And now bring your awareness again to your feet in this seated position. Really feel all 10 toes, the weight of the toes on the floor, the outside edge of the foot, your heels. Notice all the places that are contacting the floor. And then notice the places of your feet that don't make contact with the floor. So they're just kind of hovering above the floor. So the lordosis of your feet, the space between your toe pads and the ball of your foot. That inner arch of your foot, so those gaps where the feet aren't touching the floor. So just feeling the whole foot. And now what I want you to do is to imagine like the floor was something a little softer, had a little more give. Your foot could really sink into it, like it was sinking into mud or warm sand, or maybe a nice mossy meadow, whatever feels good for you. Imagine that. Let your feet really sink into that. Really feel that support coming up to meet your foot as your foot goes down into that surface. So feeling that. And then I want you to allow your toes to sink in a little more. And as your toes sink into that surface a little more, can your heels get lighter? And as your toes sink, can your heels get lighter? Can they maybe even start to lift off the floor ever so gently? And again, you're thinking about your toes getting heavier, not your heels lifting. This is a different thing. So as your toes sink, can your heels lift? So I don't know if you can see it from the camera, but I've got about that much of a little gap underneath my heels right now. And then I'll just let them come on back down. But I didn't think about lifting my heels. I thought about sinking my toes. So let your whole foot find the floor again. And then this time let your heels lift. Just a little. You're not trying to like really come into a point, but you're just trying to let the heels lift. Just about the same amount that they did, but with the thought being I'm lifting my heels versus I'm sinking my toes. And just sort of notice, play with those two, and notice the difference, even though you're doing the same motion, how the effort feels different in your body. Okay, so that's part one. That's that first sort of felt sense exercise. Now we're going to bring it to our whole form. So you can stand up. I'm just going to move this chair out of the way here. Okay, so you're going to come to standing, and we're going to do a similar thing. I want you to just check in with your body. Feel what you're feeling, noticing the parts that are contacting the floor, so your feet, noticing the air on your skin, noticing your clothes, noticing what's going on sort of on the inner more level. So are there any parts that feel kind of grippy? Are there parts that feel loosey? Just sort of notice what you're feeling in your body. And then, after you've sort of taken your ground level, base level reading, what I want you to do is go for a little walk. And I want you to just walk how you walk. Forward and back Sorry, I'm going to talk over my shoulder here. Just walking how you would walk. Noticing how that feels. You can listen to the sound that your feet make on the floor. Does it sound even side to side? Does the weight feel even side to side? So just noticing in your own body. Do their arms swing equally, or does one tend to be a little stiller, more still? I don't think stiller is a word. So just notice that. And then pause, take a breath, regroup. We're going to do another walk. And so for this time, what I want you to do is pick a thing, a focus, and you're going to like walk to that thing. So I'm going to go to the camera, because that's an easy thing for me to focus on right now. And then I'm going to walk the other way and I'll focus on something else over there. But really, I want you to like pinpoint, laser focus. You're going to that thing, okay? So you walk to that thing, turn, walk to the other thing, come back, walk to the thing, and just again, notice how that felt in your body. If you were really walking to a thing, really forward focused, what does that do as you move? And then pause, stop. So, 3-5 times back and forth. Regroup again, come to sort of neutral. And then I want you to do a broad focus. So you're still going to the thing, but you're imagining like the thing was coming to you as you were going to it. And you're also being aware of the whole space around. So just a gentle, soft gaze as you go towards the thing. And then towards the other thing. And then back towards the thing. And just notice how that felt in your body. Did that change anything? Was it tighter? Was it easier? Was it more familiar? Was it less familiar? Just sort of feel how that felt. Okay, I've got a few more things to add in. So you've done focused, you've done broad. Now let's bring the awareness to the ground. So as we're walking, you're going to really feel the ground coming up to meet you. It's supporting you as you step onto it. It is coming to meet you as you go to it. So focus on that grounding feeling as you walk. Try to let your arms go. Don't just hold it like I just did. And then notice how that felt in your body. Was that familiar? Is the ground as a resource familiar to you? Next one, sky as resource. So this time you're gonna really let yourself feel the air above your head, the space above your head, the ceiling above your head. Become really aware of all the space above you. And then you're gonna walk feeling that space, like the space was holding you. So like the ground supported you, now the space is holding you. And then walk. And then neutral. So we've done focused, broad, ground, space. Now we're going to think about our back space. We tend to really go forward a lot. We don't think about what's kind of going on behind us. So this time, as you walk forward, rather than being sort of pulled forward from your front, I want you to think that your back was kind of just gently guiding you forward, gently pushing you forward, guiding you forward as you're walking. So bringing that awareness to the back. And not only do you feel that push from the back, but you're being aware of the space behind you. So as you go forward, can you keep your awareness behind you? Walking forward, but being aware of behind. And does that change your movement at all? Okay, back to grounding, back to neutral here. One more thing. I'm going to do one more walk. I want you to bring in the broad forward gaze, that grounded feeling of support, the holding from the sky, and the awareness of behind. See if you can bring in all those multi-directions as you're moving, and see how that feels in your body. So being aware of the ground coming to meet you, the sky holding you, the broad space around you, and the space behind you. Feeling all that space as you walk. Feeling the space you to occupy as you walk. And just notice how that feels. And then come back to neutral. And as you're standing here, see if you can sort of keep that spacious feeling in your body. And then we'll just do another little check-in. So as you're standing, what are you noticing? Are there any clenchy spots? Are there any loosey-goosey spots? Does it feel different from before we did this little exercise? And so this was just a quick somatic experiential, how you can use your perception and your focus to change how you're feeling inside, allowing yourself to feel support from the ground and from the sky, and just sort of thinking here, reflecting back for yourself, what felt comfortable, what felt sort of familiar, and what felt less familiar, what felt sort of maybe like you've not done it before, or slightly different. And just sort of let that percolate in your thoughts. And yeah, as you go about your day, maybe try experimenting with these different types of perception and see how that feels in your body. Okay, I have a fancy dancy turner offer now, so I'm gonna turn it off from here.